Hey, 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 everybody. Michelle is here on this 11/11/2023 on a Saturday. Baby, baby. Yeah. I know a lot of people make a big deal out of a combination of dates, like 11/11 and 2023. And, um, and they find some kind of meaning in that. And I find that kind of interesting because I'm not really sure of what kind of evidence that is of that anything is actually going on. But again, I think we all pick up certain vibrations and certain energies that make it real for us. So sometimes, I can see something that no one else sees. I can hear something that no one hears. I can feel something that others do not feel. It doesn't mean I'm crazy, it means that we interact differently with the cosmos based on our vibration and based on our consciousness and based on how we evolved ourselves. So I just find it very fascinating. And I know a lot of people, do talk about that kind of stuff. And I find it interesting. And that should illustrate to people that, that there are things that go on that are unexplainable, but it doesn't mean that you're crazy at all. I mean, especially if you grounded yourself in reality, you're not delusional, you're not hallucinating. But, at the same time, a lot of people will still get dismissed and call this or that or the other. So in other words, just trust what you sense, feel, and see, sense and receive. Just trust what you experience, and you don't necessarily have to share it with people. You can make it something silent within yourself. If you can document what you're experiencing, document it. Because unfortunately, there are a lot of people that are lying about their experiences. Unfortunately, that makes it hard for those of us that are attempting to be genuine and original. There's a lot of fakery, a lot of fraudulent. There's a lot of interference where people are wanting to promote their narrative, so they'll go in and alter things, just like with the Darwin theory, claiming that humans came from monkeys, but it'll be discovered in the far distant future that actually apes and monkeys, or that type of entity of animals, kind of branched off from humans. In other words, it's the other way around. But I'm not going to go into attempting to have people believe that. It's just going to be something very interesting in the future when we realize a lot of theories and opinions were wrong and nobody actually challenged it. They saw the evidence of something that looked fishy, especially about the bones, supposedly, but no one seemed to, it didn't seem to matter. We still ran with that theory. So, and then to call certain races of people, animals and gorillas and monkeys, when there's nothing to illustrate anything about that particular race of people, more specifically black people. Black people do not have a lot of hair on their arms. Have you paid attention to that? Do not have a lot of hair on their backs, on their chest. So who looks more ape-like? Okay, so, but anyway, but nobody wants to challenge a lot of theories and opinions. We just want to keep it status quo. We just want somebody else thinking about things for us so that we don't have to think about things. We will let the so-called experts, handle it. And I don't know, is that lazy? I don't know. I mean, you have to decide. Is that just laziness because no one wants to really reinvent the wheel, so to speak? We just want things to be somebody else's problem, but we want to benefit, of course. Everybody wants to benefit, but no one wants to actually put in the work. They want somebody else to be responsible for that. And I'm just saying that that's going to set people back so far in their evolution when they realize, it may be up to you to save yourself. It may be up to you to, preserve yourself. And so all of that will make sense at some other point in the future. So anyway, it's a little cool. That's why I got my knit on, my knit hat. And plus I need a haircut. But yes, it's pretty cool. I went out there earlier and it's really beautiful. I'm enjoying this change. Beautiful blue skies. I see people out dressed dressed as if it's chilly out there. So I pay attention to that. And again, like I said, I went out there earlier and it was really nice and cool and sunny. I just wanted to come back through and talk about things. There's a lot that I'm going to be talking about in the future. Again, I'm setting myself up, getting my podcast going along with my videos on YouTube. And then at the same time, I'm going to do my nonprofit when I'm speaking to people in person sometimes, and then doing some video interviews with people and just talking, doing the same thing everybody else is doing, but doing my best to help and to help to elevate the consciousness and elevate the conversations and elevate the discussions. Because I'm telling you, a lot of people will, in the coming times, there will be a separation, from the fake, the phony, those that exaggerate, those that are lying, creating false content, false information, all for attention. All of that is going to get exposed, And a lot of people are going to understand that there is more than meets the eye about our existence, about our ancestry, about our past, about our history. And a lot of people are going to get despondent because they're going to realize that, a lot of people think, well, when they die, that's it. And, it's going to be determined that isn't it. I think what's going to happen is each time certain people start to reincarnate or be reborn, so to speak, even though those are obsolete terms per se, it's about a personality, they're going to realize, what's going on as future personalities are procreated. Okay, they're going to realize how much waste of their time, and how they stay seeped in their beliefs and in their indoctrination, and did not want to go outside of their beliefs, out of their convictions, out of their know-it-allness, self-righteousness. A lot of people are really going to be despondent over that they have been living in complete delusion and complete illusional realities that did not exist and never existed. That's going to cause a lot of people to be despondent, because that means they're going to realize what is going on. Because what you have to consider, if you choose to, is that, once you die on a particular planet, that's where your future personalities are going to procreate again. In other words, there's no escape from this planet. So a lot of people think, okay, let's destroy this planet. Now, not be concerned about the destruction of this planet. And they think they're going somewhere. And that's going to be the sad thing. They think they're going to be meeting their maker, or meeting somebody, or someone taking them to a gate. I mean, to each his own. All of us has free will. But at some point, irrelevancy is going to be eliminated. It's going to take some time, of course. But each one of us are going to realize through the future, even though there's different people that are churned out of our, via procreation, it's all different personalities, but they still have an essence and a connection, and all and those essence and connections are stored in their storage banks, and they are animated via the subconscious. So, but don't be too concerned about, the wording and this and that and the other, because, it becomes confusing, and that's not the point, especially on my behalf. I don't want to be speaking confusion. I don't want to confuse no one. I'm not attempting to be better than anyone by using certain languages that I don't even understand. I know there's a lot of people do that. They have no idea what these languages mean, but they want to shine for you. They want that attention, and, give it to them. Expose them. I say expose everybody, meaning let them talk. Let them have their own podcast. Let them give you their theories and opinion. But at some point, I know a lot of people are looking into that deeply, and they know they're dealing with fraud and manipulation, but they know it's safe to do things in a silent, in a silent revolution type where no one has to know. In other words, but you're still making progress and evolving your consciousness, and you know it's all about you. It's not about someone saving you. Okay, a lot of people have known that for a while, probably since their childhood, like I said, like me, and I'm in my almost 60, and I knew something wasn't right back in my childhood. But I made the effort to do the research by walking to the library in the community I grew up in, or going into the libraries when I moved out on my own, reading books that were like over 300 pages. I had to know what is going on, what is real, what is, because I always felt like I wasn't a brain fog before I started meditating. Before meditation, I felt like I was in a brain fog. It's like I wasn't connecting with my reality. And I remember as a young girl, I put a video out on this last year. I can remember, because I love taking baths. That's what we grew up. We didn't grow up taking showers. We grew up taking baths. And I loved sitting in and soaking in the tub. And I can remember looking down in the reflection, and seeing a face there, but I just couldn't connect to it. It was just so hard for me to connect to it. And I wanted to connect to who that person was that I saw in the reflection in my bath water. And so over the course of time, I did. I connect. I'm whole, but I'm still developing. But I'm still a whole human being. And meditation helped me to bring that all together, properly meditating. And so I put out a podcast earlier this morning about meditation. And just, to me, meditation can be considered rest. You're resting your consciousness. You're resting your thoughts. You're just resting. And that can be something of meditation as well. Because meditation, as we've been taught, is about concentrating. So what's the best way to concentrate is when you're at rest. When you're resting, you're not ruminating, you're not worrying, you're not being concerned, because you need to be present right now in these moments. Know where you're sitting, where are you standing, what do you hear, what do you smell, be present in the moment. And the best way to do it is in nature. I love nature. I talk enough about it. And touching the trees and just being in that environment. I know there's a lot of destruction to the environment where trees have been cut down. Some of the trees look exhausted. When I look out at them, they look exhausted, but they still interact with me. And what do I mean by interact? They pick up your presence and they start to move. I notice my plants in here in the house, in my studio here, they're starting to semi-move. But it could be a delusion and illusion. Delusion and a hallucinating, so I'm not going to be concerned about that. But, you do, once you interact with nature and you are genuinely having the right vibrations and the right frequency, you're going to be interacting with the flowers and the trees. Like now, if I look out at this palm tree, it's steady, no wind. Let's see what happens when I look out. Yeah, I see people really dressed up in their coats and jackets. So apparently it is a little bit still cool out there. But yes, when I say interact, that means they move, they recognize your presence. But don't turn it into anything that's delusional or fantasized, and just stay in your reality about things. Yeah, it moves when I look out at it. So all I'm saying is that there is a connection to the animals. There's a connection with the flowers, plant, trees. They call it the fauna and flora. And you don't necessarily have to be concerned about attempting to prove that to anyone. Protect your consciousness, protect yourself, protect your innermost being, And don't be concerned whether people believe you or not. Okay, as long as you've done everything you can to be in your reality and you know that you're not hallucinating, you know you're not delusional, okay, fine. Let you allow your life to go on and not be concerned that nobody believes you, nobody is listening to you, because you're going to run into that. And it's usually from people in your circle, whether it's your family member, sometimes it's your partner, sometimes, your associates. So just be gentle and calm with yourself. Continue to work on your innermost, properly meditate, cultivate, contemplate, properly meditate, but don't ruminate. How about that? And do everything you can to educate yourself, to do your own research. I listen to a lot of stuff on these social media platforms, and of course on YouTube. I like to hear stories. I really do. I am really fascinated with people. Whether I like them or not is irrelevant. I still have a fascination for humanity, and I love mysteries. I love trying to figure out, okay, why is this person being accused of a crime? I love doing that. I love investigating stuff and attempting to figure out, why would somebody do this? Why would someone do that? But my main thing is to understand humanity. Why are we ticking the way we're ticking? Why are we walking the way we're walking? Why are we thinking? That's the main thing. Why are we thinking the way we're thinking? And so a lot of it, like I said, started in adolescence, where certain things were not resolved, okay, and they were allowed to just run free. I think as an adolescent, you need discipline in your life, and you need to be structured with reality and allowed to have an imagination, allowed to have fantasy, but be responsible for your behaviors and actions, and staying grounded in reality. So I hope that parents do that more so than throwing a toy in some child's face, or telling them to go play with your toys, or telling them to go watch TV. I would say, it's okay for them to be running outside with other children in their imagination and stuff, but work on keeping them focused on the reality, so that they don't go off in fantasy and go off in delusion and lose touch with their reality, and then it's not captured and corrected, so that they don't go off believing, having these beliefs that are illogical, and having these beliefs that are delusional. Okay, so I know it's easier said than done, and that's fine. I'm used to the backlash, from from family members and this and that and the other, and that's fine. I don't take anything personal. I do not take it. I see things from an impersonal, and I've been that way. I did have to work on being considerate of others' feelings, because I used to dismiss stuff because I didn't let it penetrate inside of me and affect me and such. But I do have compassion, empathy, and I do consider others' feelings and emotions. But I know for a fact, when you're in your feelings and emotions, you're not gonna make the right decisions. I'm just being very honest with you. When you are in your feelings and emotion, that's how it was with my mom, and that's why my dad had an issue with her when she started getting in her manic, and she was all emotional in her feelings and just almost raging and stuff. Nobody's gonna want to deal with that. I dealt with it because I knew it wasn't personally towards me. It was just how she was attempting to express herself. So we just have to help each other express ourselves properly, without engaging in our emotions per se, and attempting to make decisions when we're more emotional, and when we're so illogical and fantasizing and delusional. We're just gonna have to work on being gentle and kind with each other and settling people down. So do the meditation of rest. Rest yourself, rest your mind. You don't have, you could do it in your bed. But I'm telling you, once you start resting, you're gonna go out, into sleep land. So if you want to, you can do it in a chair. Again, paying attention to your environment and blah blah blah. And being safe about everything that you're doing. Make sure you're safe, and make sure that you are, have the proper support around you while you are attempting to clear up your innermost being, clear up the contradictions, clear up the impulses from your subconscious, and blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I hope that all makes sense. I hope everybody's having a great afternoon. I'm going to go ahead and send peace and love all over the stars and moon and mountains. And trust me, I'll be back.